Right, Stars fans, Danny Cohen here, and good morning to you. The Stars lose 7 to 5 to the Rubber Duckies last night, and we had a lot of defensive mistakes. We needed Otter to stop something once in a while. He can't stop a beach ball to back up his defense that was faltering, and the Stars dropped this one. Their point streak ends at 7. So the turning point in this game, in my eyes, was the goal that Anaheim scored their first goal at the beginning of the second period, where we're on the penalty kill. And we came out 2-0 out of the first period. We're in great shape. We're on the penalty kill. Heiskanen decides to pinch on the penalty kill. He gets stuck behind the play in transition, and can't catch up to Kreider, who's very fast. Not as fast as he used to be, but still very fast. And Kreider goes high. The puck that looked like it could have been stopped, but we're 9 seconds away from killing that penalty. We don't, and I think that if we kill this penalty, we win this game. Heiskanen used to be a bit faster, I think, just a touch faster. Even before his knee injury, he seemed to have slowed down a little bit for some reason. And I don't think he's quite as fast as he used to be before his knee surgery. I'm sure it's going to get better, but he's not there. The Stars, they got to stop with this BS. They're way too aggressive when they're ahead of games. When you're up 2-0 after the first period at home, just kill the penalty. Like, whatever happened to ragging the puck? We used to do this. This was a Dallas Stars staple when we were one of the best defending and penalty killing teams of the time. You know, back in the 90s, late 90s, and the 2000 aughts. We would just rag the puck, just kill the time, pass it between the players. You know, there's no need to try to score on the penalty kill when you're up 2-0 in a game like that. Just how about you try to dominate 2 periods? Play it safe, play it smart. If you can put 2 periods together like we did the first, this game's over. But we can't seem to do that this year, and it came back to bite us. Heiskanen had 4 assists in the game, but was still a -1. So, and I know he was on the PK, and so that factors in. But as much as he's doing offensively, the guy is still making a lot of defensive errors, and this one was a big one. So, before we get into the rest of it, and we've got a lot to unpack here, hit me a subscribe, like, comment in the box below, share this with your friends on whatever platform. Help me get the word out. I'd really appreciate that. I appreciate my subscribers and my friends on the boards who follow this show. So we end up giving up 2 leads in the game. Unacceptable. This is a game where we had Hintz came back after a long time off. Foxa was back, who's an important penalty killer for us. Jake returns. I'm not sure his head was totally in the game after having a baby. It was definitely not his best game, to say the least. You look at this game, and Dallas had 7 less hits in the game. We had 15 hits total. What is that? What kind of of team that's looking to be more physical and brought in players like Ernie, Faxa, Bastion? How are we putting up 5 hits a period? That makes no sense. Totally unacceptable to me. Moreover, where have Ernie, Foxa, Bastion, who is sitting for this game, and I understand why, because he hasn't done much of anything for a while here, and where has Bischel been? Bischel only had 2 hits on the night. So, we brought these players in. Golitzin said, hey, we want to be a more physical team, And we came out of the gate playing a little bit like that, but it's kind of died off since, right? There's been no fights out of any of those guys. No fights in 11 games. 11 games without a fight for the Dallas Stars. That shows a team that is way too soft in my eyes. We only, I mean, Miko is our most physical player right now, and that's not good. You don't want Miko to be your most physical player. I want him to keep playing the way he's playing, but Miko's not a tough guy. He's not a guy that's really an intimidating player that necessarily lays out big open ice hits. You know, he's not like Jamie Benn was in his prime. You know, when I look at their team, they got Ross Johnston over there. We don't have an answer for Ross Johnston. You know, Bischel only has two hits on the night. I don't think he is. He's just kind of a fun loving. I love Bischel, but he's kind of a fun loving. I hit for the fun of it, but he's not. I don't see a whole lot of a mean streak in that guy, and we need a player with a mean streak, somebody who's going to initiate the violence, not just respond to it. Going back to Miko a little bit. Uh, Miko has got to be our captain next. I don't see anybody who's even close to winning an election for captain against Mikko Rantanen. I hope we can finally put to bed this Wyatt Johnston for captain talk, because Wyatt is not a physical player. He's not the guy who's going to set a physical tone for the game like Mikko does. He's not going to lead the troops into battle, which sometimes you have to do in this sport. So it's great that Mikko's stepping up into this role, and we need to add more guys. Uh, and I'm not sure. I don't think that the guys that we brought in are the answer between Ernie, Bastion, and Foxa. They're, you know, Foxa. I've watched him for a long time. I knew he wasn't going to be, you know, that's not really his game. He'll fight every once in a while, and he plays a heavy game, but he's not really an intimidating, aggressive player. And we need some of that on this team if we're going to take it to that next level and be able to be versatile enough to win in different situations where a little violence is called for. So, you know, some good things came out of this game. We finally scored the first goal of a game. It had been forever since we had done that. We finally scored in the first period of a game. It had been forever since we had done that as well. You know, we end up giving up two early period goals between the one that I talked about, where Heiskanen was pinching, and another one. Those kill you. Those beginning of period, end of period goals are just absolutely momentum shifters, and you can't have that at all. We also gave up a shorthanded goal, which was also a big no-no. So, a little bit of a rough night. Let's go through the game, and we can talk about some of the nuances of the game and how it played out. So in the first period, we had Mikko and Helleson, who had a battle throughout the game, and they got into this cross-checking match in front of the net after it looked like Helleson had pulled a little slew foot on Mikko. There was no penalty on it. I love that kind of stuff. I love these player battles that we used to see with Hatcher, and I'm trying to think of the guy. There used to be this guy on Edmonton, Buckberger. Kelly Buckberger and Hatcher used to have battles throughout the whole game, and Jeremy Roenick and Hatcher. And Hatcher had a number of guys that he would just, they would just, it was like a game within the game. And you don't see a lot of that these days. It was really cool to see that between Mikko and Helleson in this game. I saw Bork with a reverse hit on Zellweger, which was nice. That was probably the best thing that he did all game. I want to talk. We've talked about Bork, and I want to talk about Bork some more here. You know, Bork, in my eyes, and I really love his skill set. I thought he was awesome in the preseason. I think he's our best in terms of skill. He's our maybe our second best forward, that is playmaking forward. Just has the ability to slow down the game, sees the openings in the passing lanes. Just just an amazing skill set that he has. And he had such an opportunity with Hintz being out, with Duchesne being out, with Ben being out, to to play these big minutes with players that he wouldn't normally get to play with, like Miko and Wyatt, and uh, he has absolutely botched this interview that he had for a top six role in this team. Now, whether that's now or next year, or if we have to move some players around for the cap, this was a test drive of Bork by the franchise to see how he would do with those minutes, with that pressure. And, I'm not saying that it's over for Bork, but, this kid, let's keep in mind, he's 23. He's about to turn 24 uh, in January. And so it's not like he is an 18, 19-year-old Wyatt Johnston coming into the league. This is uh, a prospect, a first round pick that has marinated for a while, and he's a younger forward. Usually they should be producing by the time that they're this age. So as much as I like Bork and hope that he makes it here, he doesn't have as much runway as you would think that he does to get this together. And I really hope that he does. We need him to, from a cap perspective, especially going into next season, we need him to establish himself as somebody that can be counted on to be that 50, 60, 70 point guy. And right now, he's not showing us that with only 3 points in 14 games. He had no points on the night when points were being handed out like Halloween candy. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's got to change. So Dallas gets it's a goal in the first period on the power play. Heiskanen to Miko to Wyatt in the slot, tic-tac-toe play, and low stick side goal by Wyatt. He's on fire. It's his eighth of the year. We're at more than 40% of our home ice power plays resulting in scoring, which is the best in the league. They're putting Miko and Wyatt together, which I love. I wanted to see that last year more. A lot of people on the boards were calling for it because when Miko played with McKinnon, McKinnon was a right shot center, and so is Wyatt. So it's just the dynamic of how they pass and receive pucks. It worked there, and it should work with Wyatt for that reason. I think they're great complementary players, and that one's a bull and one is a smaller, shifty, dynamic offensive player. I think that the yin and the yang is very good there. I think it's a good balance that those two have, and I hope that we see more of that. So there's a play where Gauthier, who's really good young player for the Ducks, dekes around Harley and gets a shot on goal. Harley's getting beaten on a lot of plays recently, and he's got to tighten it up defensively. I know that that's not necessarily his calling card, but we've seen him better defensively in the past. He was pretty good in the playoffs last year defensively, and I know that he can be better. Blackwell had a brutal looking block shot on the penalty kill. Blackwell, good on him for that. I was holding my breath that he wasn't hurt on that play. Then we get another goal on the power play. Johnston again, his ninth of the year. There's a tip in front of the net off a Heiskanen point shot. The penalty to begin with was kind of a BS call, but I'll take it. It's now Johnston's ninth goal of the season, and he's on pace for 50 plus goals right now. Pretty amazing stuff that we're seeing from Wyatt. After the goal, we're swarming them, and then Steele takes a penalty. Foxa had the earlier penalty, so we're having penalty killers take penalties, which is not good, and it ends up coming to bite us in the next period when the goal that I talked about before happens, where Heiskanen is pinching on the penalty kill. So I knew that this was going to be a huge kill to start the period, what was left of the penalty from the first period, and they just don't get it done. I really think that if we get that kill, we're able to win this game somehow, some way. So then another goal by Anaheim, boom boom. Robo has a high flip pass that's intercepted in the Anaheim D zone, and then Robo gets outmaneuvered by Paling in transition, and Paling beats Petro wide. Ian Moore gets behind Leon on the far side of the crease and receives the pass before Bischel can read it and react, and he beats Ottinger. And now the Anaheim Ducks have had 2 goals in about 2 minutes, completely erased all of the good that we did in that first period. So then Dallas comes back and scores. Miro with the defensive poke check takeaway, and then he immediately, almost in one motion, passes it to Sam Steele in the neutral zone, who finds Sagan on a breakaway. He had snuck behind the D, and he beats Dostal. Glove side above the pad, below the glove, which is one of the hardest places for a goalie to stop the puck. I question whether it was offside, but we'll take it as Sagan finally gets off the schneid. He snaps a 29 game, 96 shots against NHL record without scoring a goal against the team. 10 years of this nonsense, and he finally gets one past an Anaheim goalie. I wonder how many Anaheim goalies that he played against in that time. Pretty incredible for somebody as skilled as Sagan, especially in his earlier days, to go that long without scoring a goal. So we've now had 3 goals in 8 minutes. 3 assists for Miro on each of the first 3 Dallas goals of the game. Pretty incredible. At least from an offensive standpoint, from a playmaking standpoint, he had a very good game. The Stars went from having an early game shot advantage to being down 15 shots to 11 about halfway through the game. So it's the wheels have come off in a lot of ways here. I see Heiskanen pinching again. What is he doing? Stop doing that. Did you not learn from the mistake earlier in the game? I just, and I know Golitzin had harped on this in one of his press conferences earlier, so I don't think it's on the coach. I think this is on Miro, and he needs to stop that yesterday. So then we get another goal. Sam Steele turns the puck over in the neutral zone. This is a rare Sam Steele error. Harley can't react to the play quick enough to cover his man in transition. There's a pass to Gauthier and a goal 5-hole that I think should have been stopped. Now we've got several goals already on Ottinger that should or could have maybe been stopped, and we're tied back up. Then there's another goal by Zellweger, who I think is an amazing young defenseman for them. There's a cross-ice pass on the rush, taking it into the zone to Zellweger. Neither Bischel nor Lyubushkin gets a stick on that pass, and Zellweger has a lot of net to shoot at. And it looked like Lyubushkin got a little bit tied up on that, but now we're down 4-3, and the shots are heavier in favor of the Ducks after 2. So we go into the third period, and Anaheim gets another goal. Um, Kreider, a tip in front of the net off of a Hellison point shot. Looks like Lindell missed Kreider on that one. So we're having defensive errors from a lot of the guys on our pretty much everybody on our back end in this game. Um, and just a rough game for the defense and goaltending, all in all. So then Dallas gets another power play, and Robo shoots. Wyatt tips. We get a rebound. The Moose cleans up the rebound. 6 seconds into the power play, the Stars are now 3-4-3 on the power play. The score is 5-4. So Rantanen takes an angry slashing penalty on Hellison, where he just whacks him in the calf while we're on the power play, and uh, probably not the best timing for that. But I do prefer those aggressive penalties versus the trippings and the accidental high sticks and all that kind of stuff. Like, I get it, he's being competitive. The Stars bail him out, kill the penalty, thankfully. And I saw Ritzkovian make another good play. He ties up Gautier's stick on the power play in front of the net. Looks like it might have been a goal if he hadn't have done that. I was wondering why it wasn't a slash, because it looked like he kind of, when I say he tied up his stick, he kind of whacked it. But, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So the Stars get another power play, and this is where the game really, in my eyes, was done. Is Rantanen's pass gets turned over while we're on the power play, and the Ducks go back in transition 3-1 against Heiskanen. Terry passes across to Carlson, and Jake gets part of it, but not enough. And the Stars are now down 2 goals again. And Ottinger, I did a piece on where I really gained a more of an appreciation for Ottinger in respect to how he stacks up against some of our other goalies in the past. If you want to look that up, it's a good one where I compare Ottinger, Marty Turco, and Ed Belfour. And I came up to some different conclusions than I thought I would have prior to running the numbers. But one of the things where Jake has some difficulty, and I think it's because of his size, is when you get him trying to move laterally, he's not necessarily the fastest at it. And it just kind of makes sense, right? When you're 6'6" and you're 230 pounds or whatever, he's a big old boy. Um, you're just not going to be able to move as quickly side to side, and so I thought that this one was stoppable. Another one that was stoppable for him. So we've now had 2 or 3 that I think he probably should have stopped, and we don't get the stops. Makes the difference in a lot of ways. Not all on him. The defense made plenty of mistakes that led to these, but you know he. I didn't pull the numbers on his save percentage, but it was god awful, in the 700s at best, and you can't have that. So um, so then with the goalie pulled, Heiskanen makes a nice pass from distance to Robo, who's entering the zone, and then Robo gets the puck to Mikko on a broken play, who shoots it through traffic off of Hintz's hip and in. It's 6-5. The goalie, we have the goalie still pulled, and there's a lucky bounce off of Mikko that leads to an odd man rush and an empty goal for McTavish, 7-5. That's how the score would play out. The Stars lose this one. They do not pick up points. Their point streak ends at 7. And we had some good things come out of the game. Mikko leads the league in power play points now with, just amazing. I think he's got a dozen or more now. Mikko had 1 goal, 2 assists on the game. Wyatt had 2 goals, 1 assist. Miro again had 4 assists. Miro was the the only defenseman, oddly enough, with a point in the game. Where's Harley's offense gone? Where has that gone? It's completely dried up. He is struggling as of late, and we could use him snapping out of that. Miro is now fourth on the team in scoring, so he's getting into fine form in terms of that. He just needs to tighten things up on the back end and make some better decisions. So we had we had 5 goals and 2 leads, and we still find a way to lose in this game. We go 3 for 5 on the power play. Anaheim 2 for 5, but they had that one shorthanded goal. So, I'd give the edge to Anaheim in the special teams department with 3 goals on special teams, but they had one shorty, which I think trumps the one extra power play goal that we had. Dallas ends up having 7 more turnovers on the game. That's not good. Robo has only got 3 goals on the year, and to me, that is a bit concerning. I don't. I think some of it is luck, but we need him to turn that up. We got to have more goals out of him. Right now, he's on pace to score 20 something goals or something like that, and that is not where we need him to be. And it's not where he wants to be if he's trying to make the money that he wants to make either. Maybe that would be good for us in a way, but that's a double-sided sword, right? If he scores 20 goals on the year, he's not going to make the money that he would, but then we're out 15 goals extra that he should have scored that can make the difference for us this year when we're in our window to win the cup. So the Stars, they just can't seem to put a full game together on a lot of nights, and this is one of them. We lose the opportunity to leapfrog the Mammoth with this loss and get out of the wild cards. We've been stuck in wild card 1 for weeks now, it seems like. So hopefully we can snap that and get back up into the top 3 of the division. Next up we have Nashville, which should should be a win, but with this team unpredictable, we'll see how it goes. I appreciate you guys watching. If you want to reach me, I can be reached in the comments section, or you can email me at thefoilhockey, that is THEFOIL, hockey @gmail.com. Until next time, y'all have a good day.